Welcome to the world's first straight talk Solarcast. This is your go-to podcast for answers about solar. Brought to you by Solar Harmonics in Northern California, who invite their customers to own their energy by purchasing a solar panel system for their home, business, or farm. Each episode, we discuss questions facing people making the decision to go solar. The solutions to your questions are given to you straight by one of the leading experts in the solar industry, Jamie Duran, president of Solar Harmonics. Feel free to search our library for answers to questions that you're facing when considering solar. And now, here's Adam Duran, our host with the questions, and Jamie Duran, our solar expert with Straight Talk Solarcast.
Hello, Jamie. How's everything going?
Oh, going great. Super exciting day in the world of solar.
As always, it seems like
Yes.
you say that every week.
Well, yeah, that's one awesome thing about this business is that there is truly never a dull moment. There's always something changing, something happening, either good news or bad news for the solar, but it just keeps plowing on. You know, it's pretty nice that no matter what is thrown at the solar business, solar industry, it just keeps going, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think you have to be very able to roll with the punches and make sure that you are looking ahead all the time.
Could not agree more. There, many companies seem to just be in it for, they make really good short-term decisions that will help them right now, but certainly not down the line. And when we install a solar panel system, we're kind of tied to that customer for the next 20 to 30 years, and having a contentious partner, a solar spouse, makes for a very long life. And so we want to make our life full of happy people. So
yeah, happy wife, happy life.
Happy solar customer, happy life.
Happy solar wife, happy wife.
Exactly.
Or happy life.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I was just going through the various solar podcasts that we've done, and I know we've touched on it, but I didn't really get in depth, I guess, about the a backup generator and solar together. And I kind of want to talk about that because we have had recently here in Northern California, PG&E has been just bombarding the news and bombarding their customers with, we're going to be doing power outages this year. And what they really are, and so that's what people hear, is that their power is going to be shut off. And so they panic and they want to get a battery backup for their solar. And so we're, as we've talked about in other podcast, we're not big fans of the battery systems because solar is just unreliable. It really depends on the weather and how much sun is hitting those panels. So it's not a fantastic backup system. What really is a better backup for people worried about power outages is a backup generator. And so we're in the process of becoming licensed Generac generator dealers. And the reason we recommend those is because it's just way more reliable than solar.
Also, I mean, I would think financially, that's pretty much where you come in with all of these decisions. Financially, which makes more sense, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the batteries, they're really good, but they only hold about 10 kilowatt hours, which is enough for lights. It's certainly not enough to run a refrigerator all day or a freezer or anything, that you're really considering for backup power. So a lot of times people buy the battery systems with their solar thinking, well, when PG&E shuts off the power, well, I'll have power. And you will for a little bit, but that makes a couple of key assumptions. And number one is that it has been sunny enough to generate enough solar energy that the batteries actually have power in them. And what we're finding is that's not always the case. A lot of power outages happen during the winter and they're weather related. And so if there's nothing in the battery and there's no power and the power gets cut off, the customer is kind of out of luck. There's nothing. And so, but during this PG&E power outage time, their focus is on, if there's a fire in the area, they want to shut off all the power. so that the electrical system doesn't further exacerbate the fire problem. So
Makes sense.
they're just shutting off power, but people have heard, oh my God, I'm going to lose power. And so what that means though is that, I mean, we have a customer up in the Napa area, and there was a horrendous fire there 2 years ago. And there was so much smoke in the air that his solar panels were not generating anything. And
Wow.
so he was planning to not evacuate because his plan was, I have electricity and I'll be able to stay here and protect my home and everything. Well, when he checked his battery, there was nothing in it because the smoke had prevented any sunlight from hitting the panels. And so there was nothing in his battery, so he had to evacuate. So that's why we're not huge fans of a battery system being as for backup power.
Just so to recap, so because generally when the power goes out, it's due to weather, and bad weather generally is cloudy, so or makes it so that
or smoky
so that they don't, your panels won't produce enough to fill those batteries.
Yeah, it's really that backup. You know, if people are buying the batteries for backup power, you know, that's kind of saying, well, my main system has already failed. And so now I need something that is reliable. And in our opinion, I just don't think the batteries are reliable enough, not because they're not going to function, is that they need to have sunlight. And a lot of times power outages happen when there's no sunlight.
There's got to be another reason too, isn't there, that that you don't recommend these? Because I think I have one, but any other reasons?
Oh yeah, I mean the financial side. I think that's what we've mainly talked about in other podcasts. But I just wanted to really point out for backup power, our feeling is that expensive. They're probably about $10,000 each. They store about 10 kilowatt hours. But the other thing is they degrade about 10% a year. So after 5 years, you only have 5 kilowatt hours. And so, you know, that's not a lot. And so, yeah, we're not huge fans, and so instead what we recommend is a backup generator. We're installing one in a client's house in Napa County as well, in Kenwood, and it's a 11 kilowatt generator with an automatic transfer switch. So if the power does drop, the generator automatically kicks on, which we think is great. And it runs on natural gas. So we're going to have a plumber plumb to their natural gas outlet. And then it also has a backup for liquid propane. And so if, you know, power completely goes out and there's no natural gas and PG&E shuts off the gas, then they will also have, they'll be able to fill up they'll be able to run on liquid propane as well.
Wow.
So we think that's the best. And that system with installation and everything is about $11,000. So just a little bit more than the battery, but it's much more reliable.
Does it degrade 10%?
No degrading. No, it comes with an extended warranty as well. So I think I'll have to check, but I believe it's a 15-year warranty.
Oh, wow.
On the generator. Yeah.
And it produces 11 kilowatts.
Continuous, yeah. With the natural gas, it'll just run and run and run. So the thinking is that it's not going to, the 11 kilowatts are kind of a big generator. So, and they have all different sizes, but that is more of our recommendation more than the battery system.
But do you ever just say, we just recommend not going with any kind of, I mean, the power outages, all that stuff, if it does, you know, if it goes out, it's going to come back usually, generally within with pretty soon. So that $10,000 or $11,000 investment in that hour or whatever, even 24 hours, I guess.
For sure.
I mean, for a big commercial or a big business or a big company, would you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But it's really, if that person has made the decision that I need backup power and they want to do it with solar and a battery system, we're trying to talk them out of that decision and try to talk them into solar and a generator. If it's just I can take a 1 to 6 hour power outage, no problem, then those are not the people we're talking about. Okay. We're not saying everyone should have it. It's just the people that have gotten the notice from PG&E saying, oh my God, I'm going to lose power. I don't want to lose power, and I want a backup system, and I want it with solar.
So it's not,
I want a battery.
It's not just for me. I got to watch my Texas Ranger Texas Ranger episodes. Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, and there's other medical ones too, but medical reasons. But in general, people just don't want to lose power. I mean, that's a big deal. So we want to keep their power going reliably, and we want them to. The whole financial side of going with the battery system doesn't make any financial sense either. But this is more of an emotional decision more than a financial decision. I
guess I didn't realize if you consider medical necessity, then I can imagine that's a big market for people who they can't live without electricity powering their breathing apparatus or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, we use electricity for just about everything. And so it's a major inconvenience to a lot of people when it goes out, but it can to a lot of people when it's not. So, yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Okay. Any final thoughts on this subject?
I will say that for people who are listening to it and are interested in a generator and they want to figure out how big of a generator do I need, of course, the more appliances and things they want to connect to the generator. So if they want their lights all backed up, or their air conditioning, or their pool pump is a big one, because the pool can't go, if it's out for several days, then it turns into a mosquito and algae mess, and it can be a big mess to clean up. So anyway, so the more things they add onto this, the circuits that the generator is going to back up, the more expensive generator they're going to need. So Generac has an online calculator, and so people can go to, or just Google Generac generator calculator, and they can see what size generator they're going to need for their critical systems.
Okay, yeah, we'll include that in the show notes. No problem.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. So if you have any further questions, definitely follow us on Facebook, and you can ask us directly on Facebook, and we welcome all of your questions, comments, and concerns. And if you would be so kind as to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, that would be awesome. And I guess that's all for now.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
That's all for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Straight Talk Solarcast with solar expert Jamie Duran. Join us each week for more answers to your solar questions. Speaking of questions, got some? Email us at solarcast@solarharmonics.com, and we'll be sure to give you an answer in an upcoming episode. This episode of Straight Talk Solarcast is brought to you by Solar Harmonics, the leading solar energy developer in Northern California, who invite you to own your energy. Visit them on the web at www.solarharmonics.com.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.